Alright, how's it going today, guys? So, as you can hear, I have my new audio interface, and everything should be sounding much, much better now. And I wanted to show you guys that we had a prep stream yesterday, for when you're watching, and I automated our creosote and glue pipe out here. So it's coming out the side of here and going into these two burning boxes. And so that is allowing us to burn off our creosote and our glue to make our oil into the proper things we need. Fuel, butane, propane, all that good stuff. And I basically just reused this system we already had, and I just ran it in through the bottom here, in through the nether, and out over there. Now, we're going to start on getting to circuits and titanium today. And our first step on getting titanium dust, we're going to work backwards, is when we put our titanium tetrachloride into a bath, we need either magnesium or sodium. And that'll give us either magnesium chloride or salt, because it will, the chlorine in the titanium tetrachloride will bond with the magnesium or the sodium, leaving behind the titanium and then the magnesium chloride or the salt, which is sodium chloride. Now, we already have sodium from doing our tantalum processing over there, but to get the salt back to sodium, we actually need to run it in a electrolyzer with water, which will give us chlorine, hydrogen, oxygen, and sodium hydroxide. And then the sodium hydroxide would then have to be electrolyzed again to give us oxygen, hydrogen, and sodium. But if we do it with magnesium instead, we're going to get magnesium chloride, which can be electrolyzed straight back to magnesium and chlorine, no water necessary. Now, this, as with all chlorides, if you smelt it, because whoever smelt it dealt it, before you run it through the electrolyzer, it's going to be a quarter of the cost. So instead of 64 EU a tick, it's only going to be 16. It's going to be a total of 32,000 versus 65,000. Now, if we look at the smelting, this is actually doing 2, 4, 6 of them. Each one is 3, so it's going to be 2 batches. So let's look at the smelter. For a full one is only 448. So if we take calculator, 448, we multiply that times 3, that's 1,344 EU. If we were using EU to do this, we're just going to say GU because that's the generic unit. This is heat units, and we're basically using infinite fuel because we'll be using gas burning box for this. So that part is basically negated off, anyways, but if we take that and we look at this, it's 65,536. And if we look at it this way, it's 32. So, and this is 3, just like the other one was. So for half of it, we can, if we give it the 1,344, it saves us 32,768. So we're saving ourselves approximately 31,400 approximately by running it through a smelter first. So that's the way we're going to be going about this. And we're going to obviously be using the magnesium instead of going through multiple electrolyzers for salt for sodium. It'll just make it way easier to automate. So we need to get our magnesium. So to get our magnesium, there is no magnesium ore, so that's not possible. We could, this is magnesium ore again, which again is not possible to get. And that's all that's in there. So what we actually need is, I gotta find it here. Mortar, shredder, crusher, canner, boxinator, unbox. Where is this daggone thing? Because that's the bath with the sulfuric, which we can't actually do. The sluice, the sifter, lathe, squeezer, anvil, centrifuge, electrolyzer. Okay, so, oh, I know what it is that I'm looking for. We're actually making the magnesium chloride. That's what we're doing. So to get magnesium chloride, we can use this crap. We don't care. Or we can mix magnesium with hydrochloric acid. Not going to work. We don't have the magnesium yet. We can mix magnesium carbonate with hydrochloric acid, which will give us CO2, water, and magnesium chloride. This we could do. Or we can also mix salt with molten magnesium carbonate, and that'll give us magnesium chloride, sodium carbonate, and the sodium carbonate we can make into sodium fluoride if we want to, and we can get that processed over yonder. We can make sodium nitrate, which we wouldn't want to do. We can make trona, which again we wouldn't want to do. We would basically be breaking that down. Or we can put that into a burning mixer with some carbon, which will make us carbon monoxide, which we'd have to deal with, which is one thing I really wish Greg would consider, is one thing that when they make steel, the carbon monoxide that comes off of the, I think it's the iron process, reducing the iron in the blast furnace, they actually capture the carbon monoxide and use that as fuel to help pay for the fuel to run the blast furnace. So it'd be really nice if we could burn our carbon monoxide as fuel, but we can't. So we would have to end up taking that and turning it into carbon in an electrolyzer and oxygen, which isn't a real big deal. We're not going to have a lot of it. So we can do it in a mixer. with hydrochloric acid, which will just give us CO2 and water, or we can do it in the bath with salt. And we're going to do it in a mixer with hydrochloric acid. This isn't something we're going to set up that's going to stay, because we don't need this for a long period of time. This is something we're going to set up. We're going to do it, and then we're going to tear it apart, because the magnesium in this is a infinite supply. Now, how are we going to get the magnesium? Grab me a mixer here. How are we going to get the magnesium carbonate? Well, the magnesium carbonate actually comes as magnesite, which, if you look at the contained materials, it's magnesium carbonate. So we can just mine that directly, and we can get it off of other ores as a byproduct. But since we have 31 of them already, we're just going to wash them. Show you here what it actually gives us. We could run it through persulfite, which would give us some cobalite, or we can run it in a sluice, which would give us cobalite at 3% chance, pyrolusite at a 3% chance, and then a 3% chance for more of the magnesite. And this is 9 times because we're doing this one. So 9 chances of each one. And what we're technically wanting, at least for right now, is the magnesium carbonate. So this is how we're going to run it right now. It's one thing that's really important when it comes to GregTech 6. And for the most part, GregTech 5 as well, is you process things not in the best way as anybody that plays Minecraft. What's the best this? Well, it's not what's best. It's what's best for you at the time that you're doing it. And for what we're doing right now, the best way to do it is to wash it. So I already have some done here from an earlier batch, and we're going to go ahead and go set this up and make our first bit of magnesium chloride. And just so you know, I can find it easily here. Magnesium chloride, you're going to need to save a piece of this right here. Magnesium chloride does not get consumed. It's the catalyst for turning propylene or ethylene and titanium tetrachloride into plastic. So you will need one. In the case that we're going to be doing this setup, 2 of these that you're not going to turn into magnesium. We need to save them. So now we have hydrofluoride in there. We have yeah, these are all hydrofluoride. So we're going to just set this one up right over here. So we'll do this. And we need our wrench. Ploop. And mixer. And we need to put our... Now, these are going to process in batches of 5. And we'll get 3 out of it. So we'll put in 20. We're going to need some hydrochloric acid in here. Because we're not automating it, I'm going to use drums to do this. So let me go grab a drum. These should all be empty, which they are. So let's just grab all 4 of them so we know we have plenty of them. Also in the stream, other than doing some crop messing around, made some more of our molds here. So other than the small pipe, we have a long rod, we have 2 gears, we have a wire one now, and that's a normal pipe that should be up there. We used up some of our tungsten to do this. Oh, and I had a mining and music the other day and found a tungsten vein. I need to go get mined up more, but I have some here that need to get thrown in. Also went and mined some rutile because we're going to need that for making titanium, which I haven't processed yet because we're going to look at that on how we're going to do so. Let's go ahead and grab our drum, and our hydrochloric acid is here. So we're just going to open this up like so. Make sure you're using a stainless drum for this. Do not want to use one of the other ones or bad things will happen. And I do believe that is set to, yeah, now it won't fill. So now it'll start going in. All right, that'll be good for right now. So we're going to throw this up here and put it in our mixer. So do that. There's our hydrochloric acid. And is this empty now? Yes. All right, and we're going to have, I said CO2 and water come out. So we'll just pop this torch off, and we'll just put these 2 back here, and we'll just take a pipe here, connect it up like so, and that'll let one of them go through, and then we'll pop the other one out after that. I did have my, I'm going to use the ethanol for this, and I thought I had it on me. I was using it earlier, making a magnetic rod right here. So that means you must be it. All right, so let's hook this up. Get that out of there. And we can put this in right there. And tell it to do its thing. We'll unhook that. And we'll put this down here and let that run back into there, because we're not going to need that much. It's going to do everything in one batch here, and that'll give us our magnesium chloride, which I will probably need to do some more of, but that'll be enough for right now, because that gives us 12. We need to keep one batch of 3 out for the catalyst that we talked about. Now we need to run this through a smelter and through an electrolyzer, and that'll give us 3 magnesium. And when we look in the bath, we need 2 magnesium to make 1 titanium. So we're going to go ahead and use these 12. This should be empty, right? Yes. All right, so I'll take that out of there, take that out of there. This should now be empty of the water. So we'll do that. That'll get the CO2 out, or should. Let's see, there's none in there. There's water in there. Let's make sure. Oops. Won't fill and won't fill. That way it'll actually allow the CO2 in there, which it's going, and then I'll empty those into the proper tanks later. So now what we need to do is set up where we're going to be doing our titanium processing. And I think we're going to do it over here. I think we'll probably do it here, because we're not going to need any acids to do this. All right, let me go grab the other things we're going to need for this so I can set this up a little bit here. I do need the other mixer. Okay, so this is the basics that we're going to need for titanium. All right, so we have a burner mixer. This is our first step. And we're going to need a engine for that. So we're going to set this up basically right here. Let's turn that around this way. That's going to go like that. And we're going to need a smelter, which I have 2 of, which we're going to need 2 of. And I have 2 different burning boxes here. 1 Invar and 1 steel. And I'll explain that when we get this going here. So I'm going to set up the steel one here. And then this is going to output, go to the bath, come back up. So I think we're going to do the Invar one here. And then we're going to have the bath is going to be down in the basement. And then we're going to have an electrolyzer here. I need to get the electrolyzer. I forgot that part. All right. This is what we did in the live stream today, was mainly make all these machines. All right, so this is going to go, let's see. Smelter's going to output there. So we want to turn this around this way. So the output is here. So then we'll do this here. Going into there. And then the electrolyzer up there. Okay. So this is actually going to be part of our titanium setup, but we're going to be using it now to make our magnesium. So we need to get some fluid pipes that can handle molten magnesium chloride. And if we look in the smelter here, that means it needs to be 987 K. And you'll see it does not say that it's acidic. So we don't need something that can handle acids. We just need something that can handle 900 degrees. And we have multiple choices. We could do copper. Copper could handle it. We could do bronze. Bronze would handle it as well. But what we're actually going to go with is Invar. And the reason why we're going with Invar is because Invar pipes will not burn you if you touch them. So this will be safer if we do Invar. So I'm just going to grab like 16 of these. And we're going to use our nice new extruder here. And small pipes will be plenty. There's not going to be that much going through at one time. And where'd my lettuce wraps go? I don't know where they went. Alright, so you see on the Invar fluid pipes, it says it can handle temperatures up to 2395. So that's nice. It can handle gas because it's metal. It's non-porous. And it used to say on here, I swear it used to say it, aluminum is the same way. Aluminum and Invar both. I don't know what happened to that one. But it most definitely should say it on there. I know it used to say it. Unless I'm blind, I don't see it. But yeah, this shouldn't burn us if it has molten fluid in it. Let's look up the aluminum one and see if it still says it. Melts down heat. No, it does not say it. I swore it said that. I'm going to have to ask Greg about that when we get done today. Because I swear it used to say that. But I know it works, or at least it did before. I've done it plenty of times. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and kick that off. I'll finish those up later. We're going to find out here in a minute because we're going to test it. Alright, so now we need this to come out here, and it should be able to go into that front face right there. Because if we look at the electrolyzer, which for some reason I don't have stored over there. Did I spell that wrong? Didn't seem like I did, but maybe I did. Alright, let's store that over there so we have it. And it says fluids in top, front, or back. So that'll work going in right there. I need to pipe the gas in here. For right now, I actually have this drum right here. It actually has a bit of natural gas in it. So I'm going to use that real quick. We'll just use one of these because we have them. And it's on will fill. And there's our 12. So now we light her up. That's going to smelt it. Smelts the whole batch in one go. And then in here we should end up with our molten stuff. But I want to close that off for just a second. Alright, that is done. Let's put that right there. So it'll turn it off, and we can use it for a step. Now, this pipe should There it is. This fluid pipe contains molten magnesium chloride. And if I stand on it, it doesn't burn me. So it does still work, even though somehow that tooltip has come up missing. So now we want to put it in here. So now we have that in there. Now we need one of those cards, one of the tags, which apparently I didn't make. We're going to borrow this one again. I keep doing this and then have to remake it. I'll make it later. All right, so now we're going to put this in here, and this will give us our magnesium out. So I'm going to hook this up here. We need our ethanol, which I will run the proper piping to this later, because this is going to stay here and run this for us all the time. I actually should turn this around. This should be empty, right?
Huh?
No, it's not empty yet. I need to turn that face the other direction, because I want the output coming over on this side. And there's our chlorine. So our magnesium is right there. So now we have our magnesium. The chlorine, we're going to use that. So we're not going to send this out to the tank. So now I will show you basically what I'm setting up here. So if we go back to our titanium here, in the bath, we need the magnesium, which we have, and it's going to give us our magnesium chloride and our titanium. We need to put in titanium tetrachloride. That is going to come out of the burning mixer. We can do ilmenite, but I would advise against it. We're going to be using straight rutile, which is right here. And you can use petroleum coke, regular coke, carbon. I think you can use regular coke. Yeah, regular coke dust, graphite, basically anything. Any of those three you can use. Coke, petroleum coke, carbon. You can use in here to be your carbon. And we have petroleum coke outside. That's what we're going to be using. And so we need rutile coke or petroleum coke, and it's the same amount, 1 to 2. Molten calcite, and chlorine. And this is a loop. The chlorine will not get used up. The calcite will. So you will need a batch of that all the time. All right, so this turned off because we are out of... Oh, it turned off because I didn't do that. Forgot about the exhaust, which we'll also set up later. So now, let's see, is this pipe empty now? Yes. All right, so I want to turn this. Oh, that's why I couldn't do it on the other side, because that was the facing. Okay, so that's what we're going to want. We want the chlorine to come out here, and we'll have the magnesium come out on this side. It doesn't really matter. Both of them are going to need to go somewhere. Let me think here how I actually want to do this. Yeah, actually, you know what? I think I do want it this way. Yeah, it will not let me turn that the other way. I wonder why. All right, turn it that way. And now we will take this off, cut that. This is so much easier when I have circuits, but that's kind of what we're trying to get to. So we got to deal with this for the moment. We don't technically have to. We're just, you know, wasting stuff. Okay. So we need the chlorine to go back into here. We've already got this one set up. Do I have any small pipes? These will work. We're going to run these across here. Let me go grab a few more of them. I made up a whole bunch of them earlier, and I just haven't gotten them in my bag. And this is going to run slow enough that these small ones will be fine. All right, and we're going to run this back over and into here. So there's our chlorine, which if we look at our recipe here for rutile, we want the recipe with carbon, coke, that's imminent, rutile, petroleum coke. This is the one we're going to be doing. So we're going to need 8 chlorine in here to run one batch. And that's exactly what we have. Enough to run one batch. Now we want to do 2 batches. We want at least one batch in here at any given time. And we want another one that's going to be running through. Probably going to end up doing 3. But we got to get more of this processed over there, which I will do later. You guys already seen it. You don't need to see it anymore. And because this does so much for right now, we're just going to go out and grab a stack of petroleum coke out here. Make sure this is all still going good. These 2. Okay, so we've run out of all of the regular oil. We're now running the raw oil, which is the same thing. And you can see I made our paraffin wax into blocks, our asphalt and our petroleum coke into dust. We're going to take a stack of this. We're going to end up running this in there with a pipe. But for right now, we're just doing a small batch. Because right now, all we literally want is one. One run of this is all we technically need right now. Okay, so this is going to have a pipe come out of the back with our titanium tetrachloride, which, when we get over here to it, here we go, is an acid. So we do need to run this through a stainless steel pipe or a gold pipe or titanium pipe or tungsten pipe, not titanium. But we're not trying to make titanium today. What we're going to be doing is actually putting this titanium tetrachloride into a drum. So we're just going to put this right here. So now the only other thing we need is we need to get calcite. And calcite we can get from multiple places. We can get it from limestone, calcite itself, or marble. That's why we have these here. I'm going to go ahead and use this calcite since we have it. but you can also use those. And we have tons of limestone, tons of marble, so that will work. So now we need to just put this in here. Again, we need to hook this up. So I'm going to do this again. And this is going to come out here on this side. So we're actually going to turn this machine this way, because we want the output there. And then that we're going to have run. Oh, yeah, I can't jump. I'm trying to go around the corner. It's not working. So we'll do this. And we need this to go in here. Problem is, we already have a pipe there. So we're going to take that pipe off. We're going to run this pipe across. And I'm going to go and make a extender real quick. A tank extender. Right here. It's just going to take 2 steel fluid pipes and a steel machine casing. And I'll be right back. And we'll finish this up. Alright, I have my tank extender. And we're going to shove this right here. And it's going to extend the input of the mixer. And we have both of those going to blank sides. So now, did we get, no, we did not get the natural gas in there. So now we should have it in there. Fire that bad boy up. It's going to melt our calcite, which will end up in here with our chlorine, our rutile, and our petroleum gas in just a minute. Except we ran out of gas. Hold on. I was kind of worried that was going to happen. You know what? Where is our natural gas line? Right here. I need to paint them, though. How many do I need? 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 16, 17, 19, 20, 21, 22. All right, hold on. Let me go and paint these, get this pipe hooked up. No reason to mess around. Well, actually, that one right there, that might be closer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. It's not much closer. It'll be the same. So anyways, give me a minute. Let me paint these, run this pipe. I'll be right back again. All right, it's all piped up and running again. So here in a minute, we will have our calcite in here, and it will be ready to run. All right, this one is empty. This one still has some in it. Yeah, don't really care. I'll hook this one up as well. By the way, the reason why I did Invar here and steel here is because this is going to run rather quickly compared to the electrolyzer. And this one, as you can see, is going to take a little bit. So I want this one running faster. But now we have our calcite in here. So we need to hook up our ethanol, which we still have plenty of. So let's hook this up now. And you'll see that it turns on but it doesn't do anything until we light it. So there we go. It's now used up the chlorine that's in there, and it's making our titanium tetrachloride. And there we go. It just made it. Go ahead and shut that off for right now. And our titanium tetrachloride is right here. And we can shut that off. Now, later on, I will automate this process. But for right now, this is how we're going to be doing it. Let's look in the quest book here. So if we look under plastics, we need our burning mixer, which we have and set up. Then we need our titanium tetrachloride, which is just a checkbox for some reason. Not quite sure why. And now that will lead to our plastic. Now we have a whole other side we need to set up, which we're going to do next time, because we've already been here for almost 50 minutes just getting this part set up. So we will do the other side of it in our next video, but we're going to take basically this entire thing of titanium tetrachloride, which is 10,000 liters, which, by the way, 1 liter plastic, just so you know, 1 liter of titanium tetrachloride will make us 1 plastic. So essentially in this drum we have 10,000 plastic. That's going to make us a bunch of circuits. So we're not going to worry too much about automating this part of it for the plastics. This is basically our titanium setup, except we need this. So we will automate this further, and then it will make our titanium for us. But we need to put in more magnesium chloride because we have now used up all of our chlorine and our that we had in here. So we have our magnesium, but we don't have the chlorine any longer. So we're going to either have to bring some over or make some more from our magnesium carbonate here, which we do need to do so we get more magnesium. But we're probably also going to bring in a bit of chlorine as well. Like I said, this is a closed loop. I will put a link to the automated titanium setup, and I think there should be one for plastic as well. I will link those if you want to see what our final thing is going to look like in more of a tutorial type of thing. But this is our first step, getting our titanium tetrachloride. Our next video, we will do the other half of this here, which is setting up cracking our butane, which I have to go over that because I think I use propane, but we'll figure that out in the next one. See you guys next time.